Hey, loves, how are you? So, a few new things have been sort of coming through over the last few days. I don't know, for those of you that have been here with me for a while, there was a few months ago, I was doing these inner union readings where I was working on the seven chakras through the masculine side and the feminine side, and it was really pertaining to the inner union. I actually feel guided to go into some of these messages specifically for the masculine collective with like a seven chakra read and then a seven chakras for the feminine collective. I may potentially break this up into two videos, so it just depends on how long it gets. But some cool messages were coming through right out of the gate. I have two light seer decks, identical. I have an older one that I originally used and then a newer one. And as I was playing with those this morning, it came to my awareness that some of the cards have gotten mixed within the decks. And one had like 80 something cards versus the 72. And so I started to kind of look through the decks and realize that some obviously had more, some had less, but some had the same cards. And the message that was coming through, if you think about it in terms of the masculine and feminine collective, that some were holding very specific keys and others are holding specific keys. In fact, one of the decks had both of the Ace of Pentacles, and the other deck had both of the King of Pentacles. And I'm bringing this up because it felt significant and it just stood out to me as though one side is holding like the keys to the new beginning in the physical world, and the other side is sort of holding the other key to the new beginning in the physical world. Okay. That just came in right now. So I'm not sure how this is going to play out, but it does feel like there are some messages that want to come through for the masculines and for the feminines, like keys from the masculines for the feminines and keys from the feminines for the masculines as we are recalibrating and reharmonizing in preparation for these sacred union, stabilized physical world energies. Okay. Also, in the lieu of these new energies coming in, I want to tell you real quick that I received guidance that the Sacred Circle of Love that I'm hosting on May 1st, there's two slots, a 3 p.m. time or a 6 p.m. Eastern time opportunity. And I was guided this month to actually offer this circle via donation for a couple reasons. One, it just was the guidance, but two, it feels like there's a bunch of new things that are wanting to come in, and it's sort of a mixture of my abilities and also coupled with your energies, those of you that choose to partake and co-create in the circle. So it felt like I wanted to honor that co-creative process and allow whatever wants to come through, the new things that want to be birthed into the physical reality in a co creative manner. I wanted to give space for us to do that. And so I'm offering it via donation. I put the information over in the community tab, but I'll also drop it in the pinned comment for any of you who want to join me in that. The topic that came through is inner union embodiment. So I love that because it's such a broad topic and there's so many ways that we are coming into our own internal union and stabilizing those energies into an embodied way. I'm really looking forward to sharing that space with those of you called. And yes, there will be a recording if some of you are not able to make it live, but if you're interested, you can still sign up for that. All right. So just wanted to let you know, it feels like this is actually an important process because I'm finding that I'm doing this not only with my offerings here on the channel, but also I'm noticing these new ways of being in co-creation and unity, harmony, consciousness that I'm experiencing in my friendships, in my relationships, in my life. Okay, so there's these new ways that we're learning as we're going. Okay, and I think for me, I like to just explore the newness without any major obligations to those, because what it does is it allows the space to open up and allows us to choose what we actually want to commit to as individuals, but then also as a collective, right? And as we're each learning how to honor our own sovereignty and our own creative life force, it allows us to step into these spaces in exchange with others who are also doing the same. And this to me is a very important energy, not just for the channel here and for my friendships, but it's also to me, it's an embodiment of those sacred union energies. And so, any ways that we can start to learn to practice and embody those together, we're obviously grounding and stabilizing the unity consciousness and codes as we're working together in these co-creative spaces, but we're also preparing and learning how to sustain these types of exchanges so that we have a deeper sense of understanding of how to navigate these divine sacred union partnerships and connections in a physically manifested way. Because yes, we're learning how to do it and do the dance and the energetics in the higher realms and the higher dimensions. But again, if we're wanting to truly more fully embody the ability to sustain and maintain these sacred love unions in our daily lives, then it's important that we practice these muscles in our daily lives, even maybe before it's fully manifested into our physical world. Okay. So that's what I'm here for. One of the things I'm here for, right? But I want to, maybe I'll do those chakra readings. Maybe I'm going to come forward with those over the next day or two, and let me know how you guys feel about that. Would you really like to have like a video dedicated to where the masculine collectives are through the chakras, and then a separate video for where the feminines are? And of course, when I bring my messages, this is more about one, confirming what you're going through or helping you to sort of broaden and open up the perspective of what you might be experiencing. Really, it's just meant to enhance your experience personally. So let's see what wants to come with this Ace of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. Because I do feel very deeply, again, what keys and codes want to come through. And okay, I said, all right, let's start with some main keys that the masculines want to share with the feminines and the keys that the feminines want to share with the masculines, because I said that a minute ago. Okay. So let's see what we have out of the gate today. Okay. Yep. 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 Okay. This is how we move off the cuff. The Ace of Pentacles actually wants to come through for the masculines. And let's see what, okay, we got two. Oh, wow. So the Ace of Pentacles from the masculine collective is bringing forth the keys of straddling worlds, wandering between realms, and netcaster's preparations come to fruition. And what this is so beautifully speaking about to me is this realization in the keys that the masculines are bringing through, is that we're all dancing and like straddling in this embodiment process. We're all individually and sovereignly deciding what is in alignment with us and what we want, what we're capable of doing. And this wandering between realms to me speaks about a level of soul retrieval, like getting those parts and pieces of our energy back so we have our life force to be available to bring in this grounded new beginning, okay, in a stabilized way. um and with this preparation coming to fruition, this to me, like the netcaster, is like where we've gone out or where we've been going out and retrieving those parts of ourself so that we have our keys and our codes to be available to bring these manifestations into a physical reality. So I can even sense in my system that there is more that wants to come with this. It feels like what I'm sensing energetically is that this is a semi physically manifested reality right now. That it's like the energies are being pulled in from the higher realms and embodied into the physical realms. And that's essentially what we are doing as conscious co-creators of our reality. Okay, so this kind of goes in with this idea of realizing that we're getting those higher downloads from our higher selves, right? Straddling between the worlds, pulling them in through the higher realms and then embodying them. So this is also another form of soul retrieval if you think about it. Might not be from past timelines or past lives or things like that, but it's actually pulling in more and more of your true soul essence. Okay, so that feels like a combo, and the masculines are acknowledging the importance of this process of really owning our co-creative abilities with our higher power and with earth, and actually owning and honoring our abilities to co-create our actual reality. And when we were born, we may have had the abilities, but we were thrust into a world that actually shut down these abilities or taught us to ignore them. So this is where we're going back to those inner child works and remembering our true co-creative abilities through our natural nature. And so there's something that quite significant that wants to come through here with these energies. And but I feel right now to let it sit there and see what comes through, because now I feel like the feminine keys may couple and co-create with the masculine keys. Okay. What would the feminines like to bring through with this King of Pentacles? What's coming through like right out of the gate is like not shutting any parts of ourself off. Okay. And then here we go. Look at this. The feminines are coming through with some high intuitive abilities, precognition, psychic abilities, future vision, telepathy, transmission, perception, communication. Okay. So the feminines are talking about this importance of connecting to those higher powers and embodying them in a physically manifested way that allows you to tap into those higher conscious creative abilities, like your telepathy, like your psychic abilities and your visionary abilities and your foresight as the feminines, to be able to foresee things, but also have the ability to be present in the physical and allow the wisdom to come to physical world fruition. So there's more coming in right now. All right, these two together and the beauty of it. So the feminines have this higher foresight, right? This ability to foresee things ahead of time. Um, and the masculines have that strength and that ability to ground in the visions and begin to build them, you see? And so we have these building physical world energies coming through, right? And they're holding the keys. So this is where, as collectives, there's different keys that are held. But as we work with our internal union and we allow ourselves to receive the messages and the keys from the opposite collective, right? It allows us to come more into those internal union states, but it also gives us the keys to understanding our counterpart and their individual strengths as a masculine, as a feminine, right? So yes, do we as individuals, regardless of how we identify, hold some of the keys and codes of each of these abilities? Absolutely. We all have the ability to connect to our higher power and our psychic abilities and our telepathic abilities. We also all have the ability to be present in this physical world and stabilize and build new creations, right? We have these internal energies. It's how we live and function on this planet. Well, for the most part, and as you're evolving and ascending, you're allowing these higher abilities to come into fruition. I'm also getting that many masculines throughout life have actually been being led by their intuitive abilities, whether they realized it or not. And I feel like they're expressing right here and now that yes, they've been doing it. It's just definitely been in a different manner. The same way that the feminines actually create physical world creations in a way that is different than the masculines. But the beauty of all of this is that as we step into our own powers, in our own specific keys, in our own places in the world, but in an inner union, in an embodied way, it actually allows for the inner strengthening, but also the strengthening of the collectives in a co-creative manner. Because we've spoke about this, in order for certain things to be created on this planet, we do need both a masculine in full physical form and a feminine in full physical form. And one of those creations that's clear is having children on this planet, right? It requires both an individual masculine and feminine. Okay. So you see the importance of coming into our internal union is being able to, as individuals, step into our full power and our full capability or potential, but also honoring and helping us to understand the opposite roles. And within understanding the opposite roles in a deeper way, it builds and gains and fosters both respect and trust. Okay, so as we come into our inner union energies, we honor who we are either as a sacred feminine or a sacred masculine in the specific keys and codes and major abilities that we each bring to the table, right? But then having that space where we meet in the middle and we bring in the wisdom and the ability to ground these in. It's a very beautiful energy. I sort of have this vision of this very deeply beautiful, respectful reciprocation where the feminine's abilities to precognition and telepathy and to receive the higher messages is something that's no longer scary. It's seen as a gift and as a very important piece of building the new foundation. And in turn, the masculine's ability and strength to build and function in the physical world as he allows himself to receive from the feminine's higher vision, it allows the feminine to receive from the masculine's ability to build. Okay. And the two together are, like I've said, a powerhouse, a power couple. Yes, they're each doing it in their own individual right. They are both capable of intuiting higher messages. They're both capable of building in the physical world, which in and of itself is gorgeous, right? But then you bring the two together and they're allowed to be in those inner union states, but to step into their more manifested physical sacred energies as a sacred masculine and a sacred feminine. I think deep down, tell me what you think about this in the comments. This is what we crave so deeply as a collective, as a human being, to be able to be all of who we are, but then also to assume our natural nature and our natural roles as a sacred feminine, as a sacred masculine in our embodiment. And this is where coming into our inner union states is priceless. And it's not the be all end all loves. It's an important piece of the puzzle to embody these sacred union unity consciousness codes so that we can come together in a physically manifested way. Our internal union holds the keys for our own codes of what we're meant to ground as individuals, but it also helps us understand how to co-create in our sacred partnerships. Okay. This is exceedingly powerful work. It's exceedingly important, right? And then you take these abilities, and then on top of it, you bring in the beautiful energies of the inner child, right? The joy, the playfulness, right? Like we all know how to work, right? We know how to get things done. I know you do, or you wouldn't be here on this channel. So I know you've been working. But we're going to bring in now some of those beautiful messages. I'm going to bring in a unicorn card and I'm going to bring in a true love card from the sacred inner child essences from both collectives, where we can meet in the middle. Wow. Okay. So this is so fascinating and quite amazing what the inner child is bringing through, because it's going to be two cards that you might not expect, but that's why I love it even more. We have leadership and sexuality. Okay, loves? And this is quite amazing because to me, this is speaking about the importance of having all of our essence retrieved. Most importantly, the sacred essence of our inner child. As our inner child is safe and secure within our internal union, again, we have another key and code to be present in our sacred union. And as we feel confident and comfortable and in our power, in our own inner feminine, our own inner masculine, our own inner playful, joyful energies, that magnificent combo allows us to both step forward into our leadership, right? Because we're doing so in a balanced way, out of love, out of unity consciousness, and it's coupled with joy, and our sexuality coming forward in that balanced, powerful, confident way, because we are harnessing all of our true life force, right? And stepping into our sexuality in an intimate way, in a safe, trusted way, where we can come into those energies of reciprocity and camaraderie and your own individual sacred sexuality as a sovereign being, but then also coming into the sacred sexual, sacred unity consciousness energies of grounding in these beautiful, gorgeous creations, because our sexuality is very much a key piece to these co-creations, right? Wow, you see something's coming up in my throat as I'm talking about this. Wow, there was nothing going on with my throat in any way, shape, or form. So you know I have to pull on that. Okay, what's going on? Because it's step into your leadership, share your messages, inspire and empower others. And then coupling that with the sexuality. Let's see what's coming through with that because it feels important. Clearly connected to the voice, which makes sense because our voice is an aspect of our expression, the same way that our sexuality is an expression of our creative abilities. It is almost like one of the ways I see it is like the sacral chakra is twofold, and it has one chamber for co-creation and creation abilities on the planet, and there is a second chamber for sacred sexuality. And yes, they do feed one another. Like the sacral really comes in and the creation energy comes in and is a very vibrant orange energy, and the sacred sexuality essence comes in as a pink color, and the two, yes, obviously work together in their own harmony. But it feels important to acknowledge that really quick. That must be what they wanted me to share with you, is because the sacred sexuality is its own chamber, because that specific portion of your sacral chakra is meant to be for you and for your sacred partnership, right? Your sacred union energy. And yes, it grows and it builds, and you work with those energies for yourself and for your connection. But it is a sacred container meant for only that partnership. Okay. And then the other chamber of the creation and the sacred creation energies, the orange chamber, is where those creations that you share out into the world are harnessed and shared in a safe way. Okay. But yes, they both can feed one another, but this is something that happens in a very protected, specific manner for you and your energy and how you choose to work with your sacred union space. But there is a very sacred space between the counterparts that is meant only for the counterparts. Okay. There's a heart space and a sacred space through each one of the chakras that is intended only for the sacred union energies. And I did not know that I was going to share that. Many of you may have already tapped into this on your own. Either way, it feels like it's becoming very important in this moment because that sacred container that is meant only for you and your connection is something that is an important piece of that embodiment of your sacred union in a safe, stable, aligned manner onto earth that is significant. And I'm excited that this message is coming through. I'm going to let you each individually connect with that in whatever way feels correct for you. If I'm guided, I may come back with a separate video just on that topic. If you think that you would like more on that, let me know in the comments. But as you can see, I already have a few ideas for a few videos coming up in the future, very new. I'm excited because we are very much stepping in and on to this new timeline. And I do believe very deeply from the energies that are coming through is that many of us are preparing to anchor, stabilize, maintain, and sustain sacred union partnerships very soon. All right, my loves, I am so grateful to have spent this time with you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. And as always, I would absolutely love to hear from you in the comments. In the pinned comment, I will drop the Sacred Circle of Love information as well as my other schedule for the rest of the week. All right, I love you so much, and I hope you enjoyed this. Have a beautiful day.